Well, in the company of Sir Chris Hoy, who has just made an announcement. We were wondering what it was going to be, Chris. Was it? Is this the end of the great career? But no, that's still continuing. So perhaps you'd like to remind us why we're here in the biscuit factory in southeast London.
Yeah, we're not here to launch a range of biscuits. We're here to announce that I'm starting my own range of bikes with Evans. There's the logo next to me here. It's something I've been working on for probably about 18 months now. And it's just something that I was mindful of the fact that eventually I will be retiring from cycling, and I wanted to have something that I was going to get my teeth into, really be passionate about, and something that was going to give me a focus, because often athletes retire and they lack that kind of element in their life. So to me this was, an opportunity I was going to grab with both hands. And I've always been into the bikes in terms of the actual technical side of things, the components, what makes a bike feel good, what makes it feel quick, makes it enjoyable to ride. So for all these reasons, this was the natural project to get involved with, and Evans were the natural partner.
Well, if you forgive the pun, it's almost as if you've gone full cycle, because sorry about that, because you're back to being a kid mucking about with bikes again.
Exactly, and it does remind me of when I was younger, and I had a weekend job or a summer job, and I would sort of club together some money and save up money, and then I would be trawling through the classifieds, trying to pick up a frame and then the wheels and the components within a budget to get the ideal component together to make the best bike. And essentially that's what I'm doing. We have a budget for each of the models, and I get to pick and choose the components. It's not that we're contracted to one particular manufacturer. We can use whatever we want. So it's a lot of fun for me. I get to ride bikes to have fun doing it, and I'm going to be hopefully continuing on to the Commonwealth Games in 2014. But beyond that, this will give me something to really just keep enjoying riding bikes and getting other people enthusiastic about it too, hopefully.
And one of the things that I'm sure you've noticed, Chris, over the many years that you've been winning gold medals is not only has Britain become a very successful competitive cycling nation in sport, it's also become a great cycling nation, full stop, and that wasn't always the case. So I guess this is a natural extension for you as well to maintain and perhaps even encourage even more people to get out on their bikes.
Well, exactly, that is the aim. We want to get people to get on bikes, to enjoy them for whatever reason. We've got different bikes for different purposes. So we're going to have city bikes, road bikes, and then we're going to branch into other kinds of bikes in the future. But it's really for people, whether you're riding to work, riding to school, you're doing it to lose weight, for fitness, for health, or if you're competing, actually wanting to become a champion cyclist yourself one day. All these different reasons, we're trying to get people onto bikes and enthusiastic about it. And you look at Bradley's achievements, the rest of the team's achievements, cycling really is getting into the kind of general public's awareness now, and so it's important, I think, to provide them with bikes they can ride and enjoy in a safe way, and just keep that momentum going.
I remember seeing you in Manchester before the Olympics, Chris, and you were talking about the 15 minutes of hell you had to do in one particular exercise, which left you in a fetal position on the floor afterwards. Well, life's got a bit better since then. You've got a couple of gold medals to make it 6. Statistically, the greatest British Olympian of all time. There's a certain velodrome in Glasgow called the Sir Chris Hoy Stadium. You've been shortlisted. Of course you've been shortlisted for BBC Sports Personality of the Year. Life's not too shabby.
It is quite amazing. I do have to pinch myself every now and again and just think, and often when like a project like this, I'm looking back at photos and memorabilia from years gone by, and photos we've got around the walls here of me when I was a kid riding BMXs, and I never dreamt that when I started, when I was racing bikes age 7, that I would be here almost 30 years later, still riding bikes, still racing, and talking about the success, because I never envisaged that. I always thought it was just going to be do the best you can, enjoy it, and have fun. And I was competitive in myself, so obviously I pushed myself on. But yeah, it's a dream come true. And yeah, any one of these accolades on its own would be more than enough. But when you get a whole load of them, it's quite amazing, quite hard to sort of let it sink in.
Well, the funny thing is, when you won your silver medal, your first Olympic medal, wasn't it, in 2000?
Yeah, that's right.
You would have probably settled for that, wouldn't you?
I would. I couldn't believe it, to be an Olympic medalist, just to have an Olympic medal, in your hand, and the next morning waking up in Sydney, I remember seeing that I had hung the medal on the end of my bed, and just waking up and realising it wasn't a dream, that I had actually won an Olympic medal. I'd have been happy to retire that time with that as my achievement. But
glad you didn't, by the way.
I'm glad I didn't too. But it's a funny thing, you keep working and you keep resetting your goals. When you achieve something, you say, right, that's where I am now, but I want to keep moving on. it's amazing what you can keep doing.
Now, I know you're a very honest sportsman. You have to be as a sportsman. So you only compete if you think you deserve the jersey. You're not keeping a youngster out, etc. So decisions need to be made still. But 2014. It's only 2 years away. It's Glasgow. It's the blue Scottish jersey, and it's the Chris Hoy Velodrome. Lots of reasons to continue, at least for 2 years.
It's even less than 2 years now. And when you think about it, it's in some ways you think that's just around the corner, but then you break it down. You break it down into day to day in terms of week by week. The training that goes in. Some weeks you're getting close to 35 hours of training a week. Physically, it's whether my body can keep that going. Mentally, I have the motivation, I have the desire. As you say, there couldn't be a bigger draw than to be able to compete in Scotland, in a blue jersey, in front of a home crowd, in a stadium that's got my name on the side of it. But I only want to be there if I can be competitive and have a chance of winning. And nothing's ever guaranteed, but you know if you're in the ballpark. So I want to be sure that I'm physically able to do it, because it was bloody hard work getting to the Olympics in London in one piece. Not just from me, but from all the medical support. The physios, the massage therapist, everybody making sure that I was injury free and able to actually be there in one piece.
Two final quick things. For me, one of the highlights of the games was seeing your face when, from nowhere seemingly, Steve Redgrave emerged and gave you a massive bear hug.
Yeah.
You'd leapfrog his tally of 5 goals to get to 6 goals. But I know you've always maintained, despite that, that he's still the greatest in your view.
I think he is, and I think that statistics can be a little bit misleading sometimes. I think that what Steve achieved to have won 5 consecutive gold medals in such a physically demanding sport as rowing, not taking anything away against another sport like equestrian, for example, where you get guys, this Japanese competitor this year was in his 60s. So I'm not saying it's not a difficult sport, obviously it is, but they can continue on into their later years. Rowing, he managed to keep them for 5 games, 5 consecutive gold medals, and it's only when you start doing consecutive games you realise how hard it is to be able to keep getting yourself up to that peak condition on that one day every 4 years, when anything could go wrong. Anything could go wrong in the weeks and months leading up to it, and even on the day itself. And he did it. And so in my eyes, Steve is the greatest, and he always will be. And
the final question, sports personality again. You're in the shortlist. Why wouldn't you be? You won 2 gold medals, 6 gold medals in total. Probably, and it sounds a ludicrous thing to say, you may not even make the podium, which is not an indictment of you. It just shows what a ridiculous year it's been for British sport.
Yeah, I certainly don't expect to make the podium. If I was going to make a call, I would say Bradley first, Andy Murray, Jess and Ennis and Mo Farah, 2nd, 3rd, 4th in some sort of order. But there's other guys in there too that could easily sort of upset that. But it's an amazing year, and I'm just delighted to be in that last 12. But I've won it once, and I'm very happy with that. So I'll be there I won't even be there. I'll be in Australia, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, in Australia, in Perth, in December.
It's a hard life.
We feel for you. Well, you have won it once, and you've won pretty much everything. So great to see you again, Chris. Congratulations on your new range.
Thank you.
Be out riding it hopefully very soon next year. And hope to see you in Glasgow.
Thank you very much. Cheers.